Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives. Today we're going for a drive in this 2023 BMW 760i xDrive, the new G70 chassis. I am a huge 7 Series nerd, so when I was able to go to the first drive event of this car late last year, it was almost like a dream come true. To be able to drive this thing up in the California canyons and really push it to the limits and see what it was capable of was excellent. But now I've got it back home in Michigan and I've been able to spend the whole week with it, and I'm super excited to take you out on a nice chill drive this evening, talk about what this thing's been like to live with and what I think of it overall. Honestly, the looks on this thing are probably the biggest controversy because everyone, likes to bring up that BMW is going a little bit bold with their design language lately, but the only real offensive part of this car is the front, and I'm sure you saw me walk by that just a second ago, but the back, 3/4, the side, and the straight up from the back, I don't think it looks too bad. I think the proportions are just about right. This is quite a massive vehicle. It's 6 inches longer than the outgoing G12 7 Series, so it is quite a monster. It barely fits in my girlfriend's garage. I've got about 2 inches on each side, so it's just barely usable for day-to-day life if you're fitting it in a small garage, though if you own a 7 Series like this, you probably aren't worried about having a small garage, or you have your butler park it for you. Anyways, here's the front, the most controversial part of this car, and honestly, in the white with the M Sport making everything black, I don't think it looks too bad. Partially because we get these really neat Swarovski crystal headlights. See them kind of twinkle the life here. Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste, and when I first saw it, was not a big fan. But after living with this thing, just the presence of this car is just striking. So this is the 760i. Under the hood, we've got BMW's S68 twin power turbo 4.4 liter V8. This thing makes 536 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. It absolutely rips. It weighs 5,100 pounds, but you'd never know it. Let's take a look at that S68 because it is quite an attractive engine bay. We've got power opening doors on this 7 Series. Can you say Rolls-Royce? Remember who owns that company. Double pull just like any other BMW. And we'll take a look here at the beating heart of the beast, the S68. Yeah, looks pretty standard BMW. They haven't just put a big piece of plastic. You can still see some things. So that's nice. 0W30 oil. Sounding like the Topher here. Got to remember which channel I'm filming for right now. Speaking of the Topher, if you all are interested to see a comprehensive review on the 760i xDrive, head over to the Topher. I've got a really good review from my launch event on this car. Tonight's drive is going to be just kind of, I'm not going to show off all of the tech and all the crazy stuff in this thing. I just want to show you what it's like to drive, and we're on our little comfort mode route today in my favorite little church parking lot. I tried filming this video earlier and someone was like mowing the lawn and there were cars in and out of here, so I've come back tonight at my natural time, what is it, 7:25 p.m. to appreciate this car just a little bit more. We will hop in the back seat for just a second to give you an idea of what it's like back here, because it's kind of like the party piece of this new G70 is the whole back seat setup. Of course, power doors in the back as well. We've got these little infotainment displays on the seats. And just as any executive flagship sedan in today's current market, we've got all of the things back here. We've got pillows on the headrests. We've got little screens here on the doors. You can control multiple different things there. We've got a big console. No fridge in this particular car. I don't know if... No copyrighted music happening. Very good copyrighted music, though. If you caught that, Laney, would recommend. Anyways... So we've got our little display here. You can operate many different things. Your seats, you can put this thing into a huge lounge position, which takes like 2 minutes, so we're not going to do that today. But what I do want to show is, and I actually don't think it's going to let me do it from back here because this seat is not in the right position, but we'll try. We've got this big theater display back here, which drops down from the ceiling and emerges you into basically a movie theater in the back seat of this 760i. I decided I've got to show you how this thing works because it's one of those things that really just sets this G70 7 Series aside. So let's show you how this theater screen comes down and how this thing puts you in lounge position. So we're going to start by going to My Modes, and we're going to put the whole car into theater mode. So that screen drops down, gives you an audio and a visual cue there that we are now into theater mode. All right, well, while that's queuing up, let's go ahead and put my feet up. Let's click our seat position. We're gonna go to the back seat here, and we're gonna click this button that looks like a person laying down, because that is what we are about to do. So this passenger seat's gonna go all the way forwards to the point where it's almost touching the dashboard. And this leg extension will come up in just a second. We don't have one over on the on the driver's side. This is unique to this specific seat in the car. Cancel.
Could you try once again?
No. For some reason, she always thinks I'm talking to her. Cancel. All right, you can see my feet coming up.
Try again or say help.
And I, of course, don't have my shoes on.
Please try again using different words.
Please stop.
Sample commands
Please stop. Cancel. Oh, I think she's already done. Okay. Anyways, so this is now into full lounge position. I've got my legs extended, got my little footrest there, and hold on, let me turn the camera around. Absolute full extendo. This thing's also a touchscreen back here, but I'm not able to use anything right now because you have to be an owner of the car with the BMW app to turn on the hotspot to make this thing actually work. But if it were to work, you could watch your Netflix, you could watch your YouTube, the TheTopher and TheTopher Drives videos on here. But pretty neat. And yeah, that's the back of the G70. Okay, I'm gonna cut to me in the front now because I couldn't get this to work when I was filming this video earlier. So enjoy the rest of the video. Apologies for the rough cut to the car now just magically running. I thought maybe if I started the engine, it would want to fold the theater screen down, but that thing has been folded up and down probably 50 times this week with me showing this car off to people, so maybe it's finally throwing a tantrum and does not want to operate anymore. Up front, we've got iDrive 8, which is pretty cool in this 7 Series. You've got all of the iDrive 8 functionality. As much as this car can do, it will be available here in this 760i to do things like, hey BMW, open all 4 doors.
Should I open all doors?
Yes.
Got it.
So you can do cool little gimmicky things like this with the iDrive 8 with the hey BMW, and just kind of a neat thing. I did this for my initial Is the car honking at me? Oh dear.
Try again or say help.
Nope. I'm so scared. I don't know what's happening. There's a flatbed truck right here who probably thinks I need help now because the car just honked as I walked away, or maybe he honked at me. I don't know what just happened. Okay, anyways, let's just move on from all of the technology, which is not treating me very nicely today, and let's just take this 7 Series out on the road. I said we're not going to mess with any of the technology, so let's just get this thing out on the road and see what it's like to drive. Crystal shift knob, shifter, right? I guess it's not even really a knob, is it? It's just a little guy. 360 cam, backup cam. They all do a good job of showing you where you are, where you're about to be. Put us down into drive there, and we'll go ahead and head out here onto our little drive route. Because honestly, I am the most impressed with how this 7 Series drives over anything else. You see a car like this that weighs in at 5,100 pounds and is 6 inches longer than the outgoing already massive 7 Series, and you think, well, that's just going to be a boat, it's going to be a dog on the road, but that just simply isn't the case. This thing is super agile, it's pretty light on its feet, and that is where I enjoy this 7 Series the most. This is my favorite seat in this car, despite that one back there being basically an entire chase lounge all by itself. But this is where I prefer to sit here in the 760i. The seating position is nice. I mean, this is what you expect with BMW. If you want something that is very numb, soft, and passenger focused, you get the S-Class. If you want the big luxury executive sedan that's still fun to drive, you go for the 7 Series. And I'm so happy to report that with this G70 generation, they've kept that spirit, they've kept that charm with the 7 Series, with BMW. And even though it looks weird, it still does drive like a proper Beamer, and I'm so happy to report that. What I love about the 760i is it is the quintessential go anywhere car. You can take this on a 4,000 mile cannonball run road trip. You could take it up Pikes Peak. You can go over any sort of terrain. I've got an extra ground clearance mode down here, and it's just at home anywhere. You can hustle it quickly, you can drive it slowly, and it's comfortable, it's quiet, it's refined. It does everything a 7 Series should still, and for this modern era of car, I think that that's a win. Ooh, and entering some ominous clouds here in the sky. Not our usual sunset kind of visual I have for you all through the windscreen here today, but right now is kind of my only chance to get something filmed on this car. I think it's going to be downpouring rain tomorrow, plus I'm busy. So right now is our slot for our little Topher Drives moment here with the 760i. And I mean, I don't have much else to say really with this car other than that it's one of my favorite cars that I've ever driven. I've mentioned that I am a pretty big 7 Series nerd. I've owned a 7 Series. I had an 89 E32 735 IL, and ever since I owned that car, I've just been such an enjoyer of the BMW 7 Series. And I almost feel like this is kind of like a Chris Bangle moment with this thing, because coming from the E38, which was a gorgeous car, it was the best looking BMW 7 Series ever made, and it will be the best looking BMW 7 Series ever made until the end of time. But coming from the E38 going to the E65, it was offensive because the E65 looked very different, and it was not comfortable for people that had owned every generation of 7 Series before it. And I think this is kind of the same philosophy and same sort of feeling here with this new G70, because you could argue that the G11 and the G12 were very pretty sedans. They were very inoffensive. Proportionately, the G12 was a little weird, or the facelifted G11 with the big grille and everything, it didn't look quite right. But this is such a big departure from the simple looking kind of classy BMW 7 Series. This one is very in your face and bold, and we're just in this whole generational change now with BMWs totally changing their design language, and of course that includes the 7 Series. So this is just how it is now with the new gen, and like I said, I really couldn't be bothered with the way that it looks, because the way this thing drives, and we'll get up into some curvy roads here in a second, and we'll drop this thing down into sport mode, and you'll see what I'm on about. We've been behind some slow cars thus far, but you've hopefully been able to observe that in between breaths, I mean, it's whisper quiet in here. It's windy and rainy out, and there's nothing. It's so quiet. Let's touch on these drive modes here. So right now I'm in personal. It's BMW's new way of saying normal. We've got sport. They've kept that one pretty simple. Efficient, which is their new way of saying Eco Pro. And then we've got these four at the end: expressive, relax, theater, and digital art. Theater is for the back seat there. It drops the screen down and does the thing for you. And maybe we'll demonstrate that when we stop up here. But these other modes are more inter-cabin vibe change. They don't really change the way the car, they don't change the way the car drives at all. They change your ambient lighting, they mess with the sunshades, and some of them give you a massage, and I really don't even want to mess with them, because this is the one gripe I have with the G70 7 Series, is once you get it into these modes, into expressive, relax, theater, digital art, okay, you have all these cool visual effects, but then when you want to go back into personal mode, it doesn't change anything back. It leaves the sunshades up. It keeps giving you a massage. And I don't like that. I wish I had a revert to type, like a bring me back to the way I was button. So that's kind of, it's to the point I don't even want to mess with any of those. These are the only three that really matter anyways. And let's go ahead and go into sport right now. Immediately, the side bolsters are grabbing my ribs. The ambient lighting has changed to BMW M spec. And you can hear the exhaust has gotten a little bit louder. It pipes a little bit of that in through the speakers. But watch what this thing can do. And it just handles. The only time I will say that you can feel the weight is under braking. You know, you can't, that's not really foolproof. Heavy cars will always feel heavy under braking. And we can feel that now here. Roll into it out of the corner there. While we're in our spirited mindset here, let's stop and we'll do a quick acceleration. We're just gonna roll into it here. I'm not gonna launch it or anything. Yeah, it's unbelievably quick for a car this size. I mean, I don't put it past BMW to do something like this because they usually underrate all of their cars anyways. But this thing is, I mean, it hurts when it takes off. It is genuinely very quick. And it kind of makes sense because they don't do an M variant of the 7 Series. They never have, and they probably never will. The closest you'll get is with the i7, the electric version of this car, where I think they're coming out with what's called like the M70 or something. And it's going to have like a bazillion horsepower. But they have to be in combat with the new S63 AMG plug-in hybrid thing, which is going to have like 1,200 pound-feet of torque or something like that. So it makes sense that that's what they want to do. All right, put us back into personal, normal mode. And we'll just kind of float along here for the rest of the journey. Bowers & Wilkins sound system here in the 760i is S tier, as Charlie from Daily Motor would put it. Unfortunately, I've had some bad luck doing some sound system tests lately. If you've seen my last couple of videos and there's like random parts cut out of it, it's because I've had to mute or cut out the audio because I keep getting copyright strikes for songs that claim to be copyright free, but YouTube has this whole new way of weeding out music, so I just don't even, I have no interest in even messing with music anymore. So if you want to hear the sound system on this car, head over to the Daily Motor channel. Charlie has a comprehensive sound system review here on this 7 Series, and that'll give you a better idea of how it sounds. Pretty wet road here. Oh, okay, we got to do one more acceleration. Let's brake boost it this time though, since we're not by anybody's house. Oh, slippage. Okay, that's good. Let's try efficient, shall we? I think that's what we'll do. Into D, yes, okay. So efficient actually gives us a different little design here on our ambient lighting as well. It gives us a light blue vibe, which is kind of nice. And some white here as well. I guess I didn't realize that. Yeah, but overall, I mean, this has been one of my favorite cars to live with for a week, and I actually lucked out because Charlie's been traveling almost this entire week, so I've been able to have this 760i to myself for all but one of the days this week, so I do feel very fortunate. Automatic wipers doing their job. I'm a little bit bummed that we can't hustle this thing as hard as I wanted to around these corners because the road is soaking wet, and you guys all saw the slippage. Oh, we are scrubbing a little bit there, even at 55 around that corner. Okay, let's go back into personal. Just hang out in this drive mode. Yeah, these tires don't feel the most confidence-inspiring in the wet. Pay attention to what they were. That's the thing, though, with this car, is you don't realize the speed you're going, because it's just, you've got such good low-end torque with this S68 that you don't, I mean, you can have it revved at 2,000 RPM and it'll accelerate you just fine. You can see us accelerating right now. You can't even hear the car. You can't hear the car doing anything. As far as the actual steering feel, it does a pretty good job because it strikes that nice balance. You've got a really nice, light and quick steering rack to maneuver yourself around parking lots, but when you go around a corner like that, it tightens up, it's direct, and it's pretty dang communicative. That was another thing I was really scared about with this new 7, is I thought they would have gone a little bit too numb with the steering and the ride and everything, but it's really just not that way. This still feels and drives like an enthusiast car, and that's the highest praise you can give something in this class. And for the first time, I would have this over the S-Class. The S-Class, in many ways, would be better for many other people. I think it looks better from an outward standpoint. It's less offensive. It's a lot classier looking than this G70, let's be honest. You can back up this design in the ways that I have, but if you want to just go for something that's inoffensive and classy, of course, the S-Class is certainly still your way to go. But from a driving standpoint, from this seat, from this view, I'd have the 7 Series all day. That's just how it is. Even as far as tech goes, with some of the tech you've got in this thing, with the theater mode, the screen in the back, the lounge mode, the 7 Series is coming out on top as far as tech goes as well. So the only thing I'd really recommend the S-Class over the 7 Series, outward appearance and coziness and softness. But in this car, I think the sound system's better. I mean, look at this ambient lighting in here. We can change. I use my little controller right here, but we can change what color we want this to be in here. It's quite simple. Let's see, we can do a nice ivory, gold. I love gold. Yeah, that's nice. Very bright. I've got it set to be all the way bright though, so that makes sense why it would be that way. Emerald green. If you'd like to trade for some villagers in Minecraft. Turquoise, similar to what we saw there with Eco Pro. We've got a pearl, which is kind of just a white, but it's not super bright. I guess it's kind of like a light blue. Skip a few down here to indigo, a darker, richer blue, and we got flamingo. Caro Bonito, if you're watching, this is for you. Let's check out papaya. That'd be a nice orange for us. Quintessential classic BMW orange there. Nice. Coral. Okay. And rose. Yeah, that's a nice one as well. When I picked it up from Charlie, he was driving around in flamingo. So do what you will with that information. I'm going to leave it in lavender, excuse me, because I am a big purple enthusiast when it comes to ambient lighting. They've really done something unique here with this ambient lighting, because you don't usually see the ambient lighting literally be the trim. I mean, our trim is the ambient lighting, and it's this angular, crystally, sort of earthy design that they've given us here that it really just sets it aside. I mean, this 7 Series is doing things that a lot of other cars are not doing. I mean, there aren't any other cars that do certain things that this thing does. So it's nice to see BMW kind of breaking through that mold and moving their way back up to the top, because the G12 was getting a little bit stale, and this car feels 20 years newer than the outgoing G12. I mean, it is genuinely impressive. It just floats, man. There's nothing to it. Well, we will be ending today's video inside the car because I am not a standing in the rain enthusiast, as I hope you all will understand, unless it gets down to either a very light sprinkle or stops raining altogether. Ooh, dimming the cabin lights here. But I mean, that's pretty much it. It's been a great week living with this thing. The power doors, though they are gimmicky, I've gotten used to them. I haven't really been super irritated with them. And it's got rear wheel steering. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I hope I did, but it's easy to maneuver this thing. It's easy to park it. It's an easy car to live with. For 140 grand, sure, it's a little bit overwhelming. It's not an intimidating car in the way that this Tahoe is intimidating this Malibu. Nice. Okay. It's not an intimidating car. I think anyone could pretty much get in this thing and drive it and really have no problem. And that's how it should be for a car like this. So good job, BMW. And again, if you guys want to go see a comprehensive review on the 760i, we have a really good one over on the TheTopher channel of a two-tone car with a cashmere interior. So pretty cool spec. This one's nice as well, the white on the kind of rust-colored interior here. But yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up. We'll park up here, and that will be it. I'm trying to think if I have anything else I really want to say about this car before I let you all go. I'm a big fan. I don't want to stop driving this. I really would like to have one of these. This whole class of car, I'm a big fan of. I know they're pretty much unnecessary for anyone other than very successful businessmen with families of two or three, I should say. But boy, am I a big fan of this 7 Series. And if you get the chance, stop making fun of the way it looks. Give it a chance. Go drive it, and you'll understand what I'm on about here with this new G70 chassis. It's really something special here. I'm a big fan. They've done good. Okay. We're going to hop out because it's not raining super hard. So we'll give you one last look at this 760i before I let you go for today. All right, everyone. Well, I hope that gives you a good enough idea of what it's like to drive this new 760i. And thank you all again so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you have any questions about this car. I'll be browsing the comment section as I usually do. So anything you'd like to ask, let me know and I will get back to you. But that'll wrap it up. Take care, guys.